Hello everyone. So I'm sure you probably have heard by now that the RTDs have a pay rise today, isn't it? The 1st of February to say Bridget's Day. They're giving themselves a nice little bonus because they've been doing such great work recently. Said no one ever, of course, but in their head, in their lunatic asylum, they think they're doing great, selling the country out to the European Union, to the World Economic Forum, etc. They think they're doing a great job. They think everybody's fucking delighted, jumping for joy. But yeah, at the same time too, they refuse to give this people on disabilities an extra viewer support with the supporters, what they call the opposition parties, put it forward, the government voted against it, and then we hear Simon House and we care about people with disabilities and stuff. They didn't care, they rejected it. Like people on disabilities only get 250 or something like that a week. And of course they need the extra support because the price of fuel has gone up, the price of heating has gone up. But the government couldn't give a shit. That's to be totally honest with you. We have to call what it is. And yet they're giving themselves a pay rise instead. And of course, they give more money to Ukraine too, of course, because why not? The European Union's already after giving them a huge amount, so we give them more money because it makes sense. You probably should look after your own people and then worry about everybody else. But and then the next thing, the biggest insult too, is they're going to give themselves another pay rise too. So it'll be about maybe 2,000 euro better off, the TDs. Now, people with disabilities and stuff after the last budget are not better off, they're worse off, would you believe? And the majority of people, working people, are worse off, this time after the budget because of the government's actions. Of course, they are just literally going to give themselves another pay rise now in July. Isn't it great? So another pay rise coming in a few months' time. Isn't it great? And and you and I, when we do get our pay rises and stuff in our jobs and stuff, it's barely at the end of the week the taxman comes and takes it straight off us, and there's nothing left at the end of the week when you get your pay rise. If you do get a pay rise, majority of people don't get pay rise in the private sector. In the public sector, the civil servants are always getting it. The low level civil servants never get it, including myself. They hate us. But they particularly hate me. But the higher ups that sit in an office and just listen to their bullshit, politicians, etc., they get the bonuses because they're all in on it. They won't question anything that's put forward them. So yeah, they're giving themselves another big pay rise, and I think it's disgusting. It really, really is disgusting. And the people shouldn't be letting it happen because at the end of the day, they're not entitled to it. They have enough money, 130 something thousand euro plus expenses, allowances. Very, very good. I have to say, very, very good. There's literally you and me will never even make that nearly in 10 years, 20 years. There's literally there's young people I know who have decent enough jobs to get a wage about 700 a week, maybe 800 a week in some cases. When they pay the rent and stuff, they might have, give or take, 300 maybe left at the end of the week, and they save up a bit. They wouldn't make that in a year what the politician makes in 1 year, take for example. And some of them have good jobs, as I say, but when they pay their expenses, etc., they have nothing left at the end of the week. At the end of the year, they have a bit left, but they have nothing compared to the politicians. They might have 30,000, but the politician has tax free, of course, 100, maybe 200,000 expenses, etc. And these people, don't do fuck all. Like, let's put it this way too. When the doll is on, it's all just fucking theatre. Let's be fair. This is just a theatre shop. It's like a puppet show. But yeah, even the secretaries pretty much do all the work for them. When you see them in the door, they're reading that big fucking pages of stuff, talking about what they're going to do and what they did and how they're going to do it. That's why you never see me with just big fucking pages, because people are fucking sick of people just being so robotic, just reading off a page. You would ask them some tough question, because all the answers, etc., is on their page. They never ask the question off topic. But yeah, it's all just fucking rubbish. And I said to the people, don't put up with it. If you see your local council or your local TD, give them a telling off. Give them a crowd telling off if you see them on the street. Give them, because that's the only way to get through to these people, is telling them off. It's just absolute abusing them on the street, pretty much. What I mean by abusing them is pretty much just telling them off and telling them that they're no addition to anybody. That's to be totally honest, because that's the only way to get through to these people, because they think they're doing a mighty job, but they haven't done one hit. This current government hasn't done one hit for anybody but themselves, and that's to be done in the World Economic Forum, of course, and then the Bilderberg Group, etc. But not for them, not for the Irish people. Not much has changed for me. I'm a young Irish person, take for example. I couldn't give a shit about myself, just to say. But just take for example another young lad like me that wants to have a family, wants to get a house. He's been fucked over by the government in every conceivable way. Of course, they hate me because of my opinions and stuff, so that's a different story. But the government despises me. They say, for example, Johnny should be able to live a life, etc. in Ireland, but unfortunately, the government hate him and they want to get rid of him. So let me know what you think. Do you think they're entitled to a pay rise? Because I think any sane person would say no. I actually would rather bone the money. If I got a hold of the money, I would rather bone it than give it to the politicians, to be totally honest. To be generally honest with you, if I was in the revenue or whoever's in charge of the politicians' salaries, I'd rather take the money and burn it, be totally honest, because they'd be better off being burned than giving it to more witch fuckers that don't deserve it, who wouldn't work on batteries, let's put it that way. I would rather give it to the working man and the working woman that gets up early in the morning. These politicians fucking don't get up probably to fucking 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock in the morning, because they don't have fucking anything to do. Nowadays, years ago at least, you could get through to your politician on the phone, etc. When you rang them and stuff. Nowadays, you put through to the secretary, the middleman. You don't get through to the real politician, because let's put it, they're not the real politicians, because pretty much bosses tells them what to do and what they can do and what they can't do. So technically, they're not the real politician, but that's a different story for a different day. But anyway, let me know what you think. Subscribe and bye.